I want to give you a little bit of perspective and context about how walkable the city of Lisbon is. My wife and I are in our 50s, and I think we're reasonably fit. We live at altitude in Colorado, but we walked everywhere other than taking a bolt to see some sights in Belém. And so, well, the first time we were here, we stayed in the Baixa district, which is down here, very touristy, but for first-time people, I think that's a great place to stay. You can walk to all the stuff you'd want to see on your first visit in Lisbon. This walk from where we stayed down to the water was about 5 minutes. Anyways, we went over to Belém, and that is over here, and that is over here. There is the Discovery Monument, and that the Torre de Belém, the Tower of Belém, which don't go in it, just walk around the outside of it. It's empty. There's nothing to see on the inside of it. The Ark of Discoveries was built in the 60s, and it's actually a lot cooler than I thought it would be. The view from the water is actually spectacular. We took a sailboat cruise last night at sunset and got really close to the shore, and it was just phenomenal. There are some very cool museums. This is an old electric power plant that they actually turned into sort of a display on how they used water and steam to power the city of Lisbon, or Lisboa, as they say locally. And next to that is a very cool structure. It's the MAT, the Museum of Art, Architecture, and Technology. It's got a very unique structure to it, which you will see when you walk along the shore. You can walk from the tower all the way down here. This is a reasonable walk. We walked from here all the way down along the tower and across and ate at a place called the Alex Factory, which is just in the middle of nowhere, but the food was spectacular. People watching was great, and lots of art and fun stuff to see. We originally planned to walk from the tower all the way back to downtown Lisbon, but it actually started to rain, so we got to the LX Factory, ate, and then took just about a 10-minute ride over into downtown Lisbon. So for further context, as I mentioned, we stayed in Baixa, and we walked to the castle, which you can certainly get a ride up there, but the streets are very chaotic, and I would say that would be very difficult to make any sense out of the streets. We just walked through the Alfama district, which is old. It's the oldest part of Lisbon that survived the earthquake. And the streets were cool. The little shops were neat. Lots of people putting out stuff in the alley with ginger, restaurants and things like that. And we walked all the way up to the castle, did the castle tour, and then came on back down. The walk up to the castle probably took about 30 to 40 minutes, but we stopped a lot along the way and shopped. So just to put this in perspective, all of the sites that are downtown Lisbon, these are walkable. If you can walk at a reasonable pace and there's not just tons of summer traffic, you can get pretty much anywhere in this circle in about 10 minutes. So there's not really a need, unless you have some mobility issues or joint issues, to be taking Bolt or Uber. We use Bolt. It's a little bit cheaper than Uber, but sometimes a little bit unreliable. You can punch in a ride and they'll say pick up in 5 minutes, and then the driver cancels you, and it can take sometimes up to 15 minutes or more. But whenever I see if 15 minutes or beyond is the pickup time, I just cancel that ride and order another ride, and they usually will arrive within less than 5, maybe 10 minutes max. So hope you found that helpful.